Yes, people, what's happening? Another episode of Let the Punk Talk, as always, joined from boxing, Mr. Boxing Royalty, Carl Draper, and on my right, joined by the man who's won everything in the away corner, Mr. Jason Cunningham. Jason, take me back to your amateur career. How did it all get started for you, and what club did you first box out of?
Yeah, some years ago, that boys. It's hard for me to think that long. I've taken fist a long time, for me to think that far back. 10-year-old, I walked through the doors of Doncaster Plant Works ABC. That was my first amateur boxing club. I was with Ken Blood for 10 years. 10 years I spent at Plant. Obviously, you mentioned Maxi. Maxi dropped me a message about you guys. Started there with Maxi, believe it or not. So we're up and down on road together. As kids up and down the country, boxing here, there, everywhere as amateurs. So that's where it all began for me at Doncaster Plant Works ABC.
Nice, mate. And how many amateurs did you have?
At about 50 amateurs.
Oh, quite a lot.
37 wins, 2 elite ABA finals, boxed for England, and obviously one ABA title to finish my amateur career off. So all in all, not too bad.
Yeah, very nice, mate. So when you first turned over as a pro, did you get signed by like quite a high level promoter, or was you kind of at the small hall scene?
No, at the small scene. I did box on a lot of like Ricky Hamill with Sky Sports at the time, boxed on some of his undercard bills, Mick Hennessy on Channel 5. I first turned over and I was managed by John Ingle. So John had a lot of connections anyway, and I kind of, obviously because of my amateur background, a prospect coming through, if you like, I managed to get on these shows. So I was kind of a free agent. I didn't tie myself to one specific promoter.
Yeah.
I just managed, but obviously I kind of had a decent amateur pedigree, and obviously an ABA title got me on these shows and stuff anyway. So I kind of flitted here, there, everywhere. But no, I was a free agent to begin with.
Okay, so what was the ticket deal like for you? Because I know it was back in 2011 when you turned over, and I think tickets have kind of like they're a bit more.
There is no ticket deal. It's still the same thing. You're still getting on these shows, but you still got to put bums on seats, and you're still grafting and hustling and all the rest of it. So there were no ticket deals, stuff like that. You were just getting on there. Purses kind of were what they were, and then that were kind of that. You'd have obviously a little bit of ticket commission or whatever, but you know how small a boxing is, boys. It's hard to come by into. It's money hard earned, if you like. So no, it will kind of just exactly the same, but I managed to just get on good shows.
Oh, fair enough. So you didn't really have to like go through the mad stresses of selling mega tickets. Like,
oh yeah, I still have to do that. You still have to cover your. Oh no, you still have to cover your opponent. There's still something goes to pot and stuff like that. Obviously, we're just a bit. You've got a bit more to play with. It's like a Channel 5 bill or a Sky Sports bill or something just to promote it that bit more. But no, it's never been easy. It's always been on small shows. That kind of just worked around. So then I was still boxing out in Hull originally. I was at St Paul's boxing club that were turned pro-am. So obviously I was boxing out there in Hull, and I still had to get my Doncaster lot over there. And then obviously I'm mixing on these shows. I was very active, to be fair. Very active early out. But no, it was still all tickets, push, and all the rest of it. So just working just as hard outside of the ring as I was in it.
Oh, fair enough, mate. So, fast forward 3 years into your career, you got your first title fight against Scott Gladwin. Like, talk to me like about that fight and what it meant to you to win the English title.
Well, that point in my life, believe it or not, just before then, I was thinking about packing in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was thinking about packing in. That was my first fight with Tete. And just before then, things weren't happening. Things weren't going right. Obviously, starting that far back, there's no money in it. There's no money in boxing whatsoever coming through. So it was hard. I was trying to be full time. Put a lot of strain on my life at the time. A lot of pressure on me. That was my past relationship, but a lot of stress on the relationship. Obviously, has this knock-on effect outside of the ring, if you like. So it was hard going then, and I come to the point where I thought, well, I can't really keep doing this. Obviously, it was costing me to box basically, and obviously I had a young family and stuff. So I was getting to a point, obviously, you get a bit down about it. You're putting all this work in and nothing's coming off. That I was thinking of packing it in. And it weren't until I kind of had to leave St Paul's. Obviously, I've got a lot of respect for Mick and Paul over there. And they kind of said, look, you need to box closer to home. Obviously, it's no good out in Hull. It's costing you a lot of money to travel to come out here and stuff. So I ended up obviously relocating back to Doncaster under Steffi. And the Gladwin fight were our first fight together. So he automatically delivered straight away and got me an English title fight in his first fight together. And you could just see the difference there with me fighting in my hometown of Doncaster. Like I do a lot of tickets in Doncaster. I always have done. That's why I've been able to put Commonwealth title fights on and stuff like that at Dome on small shows because I've always had a good following. Obviously, at Doncaster on your doorstep, it's a lot easier for people to access, isn't it? So, yeah, up to that point, it's funny you mentioned that, but we're having a very, very good time back then. That was probably the hardest point in my career before a turning point with Steffi, and then it just kept going up and up and up, kind of since then in terms of opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like it was the hardest time of your career, but I'm sure you kept it off and it all came when you won the English title, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, that way it will kind of all come back then.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. That's why even with like setbacks I've had, you take the rough with the smooth, and it is what it is. You've just got to keep plugging away, and like I say, it's character building, isn't it? So yeah, it's all worked out in the end.
Yeah, 100%. And then after that, you went on to win the Commonwealth and you fought Carl Yafai for the British. And how at super flyweight, which is my weight division, how did you, when you fought?
How did you get to weight for a start?
Yeah. Did you know when you shared a ring with Yafai at that time he was going to go on and be a world champion?
Yeah, I did. It was obviously the level were there. He's obviously a very, very good kid and a lot of respect for the Yafai brothers. Like I said, it's not an excuse because he's a class kid, but I did myself no favours getting down to super flyweight. It was just an opportunity that presented itself, and like I know, like I said, from smaller boxing and stuff like that, you can't knock these opportunities back. So I knew I could get to the weight, but obviously I didn't perform at it. That's all there really was to it. Obviously, the better man won on the night. Carl's going to do obviously what he's done. He's obviously been the pinnacle of the sport, hasn't he? So fair play to him. And it was just a learning curve, a lesson learned for me that I'd outgrown that weight type thing, and you've just got to be a bit more serious about decision making. Like obviously from there for me moving forward.
And like in your comeback fight, funny enough, you fought a really good friend of mine in Ash Lane. At the time, he was 6-6-2. Like to me, I feel like Ash's record is very deceiving, especially at that time. And I know you went on, you actually beat him. Like, but could you see that yourself? Like, this kid's better than his record suggests.
Yeah, he's game, isn't it? One thing about Ash is game kid, and obviously, like I say, don't mind fighting on road. And he went on to win the Commonwealth title himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that says it all. Anyway, he's won a major title. So that kind of speaks volumes there. Anyway, he's good enough to win, obviously, at domestic level and stuff like that. So yeah, I know that. It's just they were a game kid before, and it's just like I say, it's just experience. I probably thought I had more experience in him at time, and it's just how it goes. Obviously, he's learnt from that and come back and improved, and it's paid off for him in the end, hasn't it? So, yeah.
100%. And you went on to fight, obviously, Reece Bellotti and Josh Gill, and you ended up losing both of them, and then you come back and fought, I don't know what his last name is, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but you fought a fella called Paul for the Central Area title.
Paul Economide, super bantamweight, See, the thing was, when I won my second Commonwealth title at featherweight, and that was a short notice fight. That was 3-week notice. Just like the Gamal F5 fight was 3-week notice. Obviously, I just stay in gym and I stay ready. But like I said, you can't knock them opportunities back. If it were a chance to win the Commonwealth title again, and then going to London on the road, in the Waco, and obviously as underdog again against Ben Jones. And obviously I won that fight. So then I'm automatically campaigning at featherweight. It weren't a choice. I was just presented the opportunity. And what do you do? You turn a Commonwealth title fight down. So, like, super bantamweight's always been my weight division. So even with 3 weeks' notice, I could make the weight easy enough at featherweight. Went there, did the job. So that's it. I'm campaigning at featherweight, aren't I? So from that point forward, it was never my weight division, if you like. I was good enough, and like that, I like Reece and I've got respect for Reece, but I was schooling him up until the point of the stoppage. And that was the first fight. That was probably my biggest learning curve in boxing against Buddy Spot, because I'm pretty durable. But I've never really been rocked or anything in my boxing career, if I'm honest with you. Sparring, obviously, because never really been rocked. And in my head, I like, I could never be it type thing. And that was the first fight where I thought, wow, them little gloves, and like, you can be it in this game. And it nearly took my head off with a right hook. But, so it was a massive learning curve. I got complacent because I was having it all my own way, and I found out the hard way. And then you're kicking yourself because I think God, all success I had, and it was my night. I was absolutely, obviously, schooling him in the fight, and then just because of, like I said, getting complacent and taking me eye off the ball, if you like, not sticking to the game plan. I slipped up, didn't I? I slipped up, and there you go. Then you started from scratch again from there. So
Yeah,
that's that.
So do you know when you fought Paul? Obviously, you had already been a 2-time English champion, and you was a 2-time Commonwealth champion. And obviously, I know it was for the Central Area title. For you, in your mind at that time, was you like, "Oh, this is a real step down for me," or was you kind of like, I've lost 2 on the bounce, and it's just a good way to get my name back in, and it's a title fight? How was your mind?
It was a way to get back in, but I don't know, in my head at the same time, but well, it's a belt I ain't won. I've won everything from you name it, from Masters up until area, English. I've ticked off everyone. I just thought it's another strap. Obviously, it ran a main event at Doncaster Dome on Free Sports TV. Obviously, not a major TV channel, but it was still on TV. So I still had a little bit of buzz there that I was the main event. And obviously, it was my own time at Doncaster as well. So, and I don't know, I thought I had more to give, plenty to give to boxing. So it was just, that's what it was. I know it wasn't small shows. If opportunities come, you can't knock them back. So that's just how it was written, and that's just how it went.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. And then obviously after that, this is when your career took off after you fought Michael Conlon and lost to him, and then your career really took off after that, and you beat some amazing names. And then you got so tell me what it was like for you when you got the call to face Carl Yafai's, is it his brother?
Gamal.
Gamal Yafai.
Yeah, Gamal Yafai. Right, well, we had a funny feeling that, because obviously Terry was originally supposed to fight Choi on that bill. The bill built around there. And he was more with the Yafai were boxing. Now, Steffi's obviously very, very collective, very clever. He knows the game inside out. And he thought, well, they're going to need an opponent for Yafai. Obviously, behind closed doors, people are not giving much notice. Obviously, getting fighters over with COVID going around at that time, it was rife, it was hard work. So, well, surely it's easy to make a fight with a British kid who's ranked than dragging a foreigner in. So it was like we only had a matter of weeks to go, weren't it? So Steffi kept dropping my name in there for Eddie. Oh, Joe, Jason, we've got Jason, this and that. He's a super bantamweight. He can be ready for fight. Just kept there. Eddie kept seeing a message and then just ignoring messages, basically. But I was in the gym plugging away all the way through lockdown anyway. Basically doing it just to keep myself sane, because as we know, it was our time in lockdown, weren't it? So I was just training as normal, always in the gym. So we kept dropping it in, nothing come back. And then literally, I think it was about 3 weeks to go. Where was Steffi now? I think he was going over to Barcelona with Gav. And he touched down, and then there was a random message out of blue. Would Cunningham take your fight? And then obviously it was just negotiations and sorting out what. So at that time, we were like, they've dropped it on us. They've probably had it in their mind that they were going to do it anyway, but dropped it on us at 3 weeks' notice. So you can't knock it back. Like I said, the opportunities, I had in my mind whether boxing were done during lockdown, because it was 2 years out of ring. Like, where am I going from here? It's still on small shows. Are we ever going to go back to small boxing? That's what it was like at the time. So, yeah, we were taking that fight regardless. So then it came to the fact that there were 3 weeks to go. I needed my medicals renewing. I needed just, you name it, everything needed sorting out. I had to step training up, like literally 0 to 100, put my foot to the floor, if you like, and just turn it absolutely up to the top. But we kind of had an idea that it were going to eventually pick me, because there was nobody else really looking at top 10, and obviously they noticed, but they were just a bit sneaky trying to drop it on me at 3 weeks' notice.
Yeah, of course.
And then listen, it's just the game of boxing, isn't it? But obviously it was written, it was supposed to happen, and then it's just all turned around, hasn't it? It's been a bit of a crazy time for me, really.
Yeah.
Best year definitely for boxing wise in my life, anyway.
Yeah, 100%. I actually saw a post of you. It was not long after that fight, and I think you was in the ring, and the camera was going along all your belts, all the Central Area, the English, the Commonwealth. And it was like, I knew who you were, but I didn't know your whole story. And it was a post about your boxing career, and it was like, yeah, I've won all of this in the away corner. And when I was just reading that, I was just like, yeah, this guy is an absolute G. He is a G. He's done it all in the away corner. No one's done him any favors. Can you just tell us, because obviously a lot of people don't understand the difference between home fighters and away fighters, how difficult it is to accomplish what you've done as an away fighter pretty much your whole career?
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, the only ones where I've had it in the home corner, we've had to really, really bust us balls, basically, to get all ticket sales in, like I said, pushing tickets, this and that, and then trying to find sponsors just to put these Commonwealth title fights and stuff on. Walking out with literally no money, next to nothing in my own pocket, just to obviously achieve these goals. most of the major titles obviously need to be on TV. They're all in the away corner. It's not an easy game, is it? It's not going to be easy from the start because you're getting punched in the face. So that was never going to be anyway. All training, everything goes on behind the scenes, all stresses. People don't see all this stuff going up behind closed doors. But yeah, I just know that you've got to listen. Not only winners take risks, and you've got to take these opportunities. Otherwise, you're getting nowhere. Unless you're an Olympian or you've got a big backing or a big promoter behind you. It's hard. It's hard going. There's probably easier ways to earn money, and there's easy careers out there. So you've just got to take risks. Obviously, Maxi, perfect example like myself. You've got to take your licks. You come back and just basically you've got to keep pushing through, aren't you? And just kind of don't be defeated, regardless of if it goes your way or not. Just keep pushing through. But I can hold my hand up. And one thing, when my career is said and done, I did it all the hard way, and I can honestly say I've done everything I possibly can in my power to get the best out of my boxing. I'm one of them guys who'll never be able to, never turn around and say, I played at game, I didn't do this, I didn't really put my time into training, I didn't diet, I was cutting corners here and there everywhere. I've given it absolutely everything. From day one, I've given it absolutely everything. So whether I get to that world title fight, win a world title or whatever else, obviously that's the aim now. I know I've done everything in my power to give myself the best chance of doing it. So
100%. Like going off your last 3 victories and what you've already achieved, like in my opinion, you're already well deserved of a world title shot. But obviously, there's a man standing in your way, Mr. Tete, and like I know back in the day, I used to follow Tete's career, and I haven't seen him of late, but back in the day, he was an absolute monster, and he
phenomenal, mate.
Yeah, and now obviously you're stepping up, like in a fight where you probably could have taken like 1 or 2 easy defenses and got a world title shot. You've gone straight in with a 2-time world champion. Tell us like how you're preparing for this fight and how confident you are you can beat Mr. Tete.
I've not stepped to your level because I always take it up, to the top. But we've put extra in this time. As daft it sounds, I really have done absolutely everything, absolutely grafted to bits. This is my last week today. Like I've said to you now, guys, it's been a late one. I've had 10 rounds sparring with Maxi this morning, who's IBO lightweight champion of the world. So I'm getting some quality work in there as well. Another good hard session tonight. Another 10 rounds with Maxi on Thursday. I've done bits with Dennis McCann, southpaw, awkward, fast, flashy style. Training as if I'm fighting a prime Jelani Tete, because that's obviously what we've got to do. We don't know what's going to turn up on July the 2nd. Like you said, phenomenal. What if he comes up and he's rejuvenated at super bantamweight? He's only a couple of years older than me, so 34. Like people talking, could he be on slide this and that? Well, maybe he's not. We're going to find out, aren't we? That's kind of what's exciting about it. I don't know until that bell rings which Jelani Tete is in there with me. So I've got to be prepared as if it's the prime one. It's the one that, like I say, it's a phenomenal fighter, 2-weight world champion, real world titles. It's like he's been there and he's done it. And I'm just buzzing. I'm looking at it that, Frank's delivered for me. My 2 fights with my main event. This is the main event at Wembley Arena. I'm fighting a brilliant fighter, someone who has, who has been there and done it. And look what kind of scalp it's going to be in my record. So Jelani Tete on my record is how I beat him. Yeah. So I'm buzzing and I'm chopping it a bit. And I know I'm within touching distance. Without the world champions, because obviously it's tied up at top, this is as good as a world title fight after that. So, his last fight was just a touch over. But before then, he was fighting Casemiro for WBO Bantamweight Championship at World. So, he's been in there with high caliber opponents. He's beating high caliber. It's as good as a world title fight. And obviously, we're both highly ranked. So, it's going to put the winner, which will be me, in a good position after.
Nice one, man. So, obviously, in your career, you've fought all over the UK and you've fought some of the absolute best that Britain's has to offer. Who is the best fighter you've been in with?
Ooh, good question. It's a tough one, that, because they've all been different kind of attributes, if you like. I thought Kalyafi really good. Like I said, very good fighter. All-rounder, really, quite aggressive. Like I say, I didn't really do myself the favours at super flyweight, so obviously not taking anything from him, but I didn't give my best to myself that night. Michael Conlon, very good fighter. He showed against Lee Wood that he were having it kind of, we were winning the fight, having it his own way, and then Lee pulled out that finish. So Michael, very good. Let me think. So even with sparring, obviously you get a lot even from good fighters with sparring. Josh Warrington, probably one of the best I've been.
Yeah.
But very, very strong, physically strong, stronger than obviously what people think. Maxi, he's a good fighter. I've been in with some good kids. It's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah.
I think the best, because they all bring different things. The best I've been in there with, I'm probably going to go with Cal. But maybe me being down at super flyweight played a little bit more to that. I don't know. But then he has been there and he's done it. So I can't take any away from him. I thought he was a very, very good fighter.
Yeah.
Jordan Gill, skillful. Like I said, Conlon, probably between them three. But yeah. I can't pinpoint one, boys, but there's power re-split hands down. So it's like how you look at it. So I've been in with some good kids, put it that way.
Fair enough. So my last question for you. So just say you're obviously touch wood, this doesn't happen, but just say you get an injury tomorrow and you have to stop.
Don't say that, boys.
No,
George Wood now.
Yeah. And you have to stop boxing. Would you say after everything you've achieved, have you, in your own opinion, would you say you've overachieved or underachieved?
I said before I turned pro, I gave myself the goal that I whether people believe me or not, or thought, nah, no chance, whether I believed I was always good enough to be a European champion, and I've ticked that goal.
Yeah.
But then, with how I am, I'm quite a driven man. Then I'm always searching for more. It's kind of you get that. Well, I can get. So I'm always chasing for more. So in terms of what I said beforehand, I've achieved it. I've got all them strapped in. I think I'd be a free-weight Commonwealth champion. Probably not that way at my aim, and obviously everyone who turns pro says, I want to be a world champion, this and that, So realistically, I'm not far off. I'm not far away from there now, and this is the next level coming up with Tete. Yes, I've taken the goal that I set out beforehand, but do I believe there's more? Yes, I do. I think the reason I believe I can get there, but whether I do or I don't, like I've said, I will always turn around and be kind of happy and satisfied because I never cut corners. That's one thing with me, and organisation, preparation, and putting you all into something. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. So, I'm satisfied that I did everything in my power to get as far as I could go.
Yeah, well, mate, you've done amazing. Whatever happens, anyway, man. Like no one can take it away from you. Like I've done it all in your way corner as well, which makes it, in my opinion, 100 times better.
Yeah, no big promoter either. So it's like, I can look back and say, it's only really with Frank. Frank's the first person who's got back me and he's backing me, which is another thing, he's delivering for me as well. Wembley Arena, kid from Doncaster, topping that with Joe Joyce on the bill and fighters like that as well. It's going to be special. It's going to be a special night. So, it's all good.
Yeah, funny enough, you say that. I was actually driving down. Can't remember what motorway I was driving down. I was driving down with my girlfriend down the motorway the other day, and like it was one of them, billboards, and your poster was on the billboard, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, he's on my podcast tomorrow.
From the gym, Jack.
You can be a very, very good, closest friends, one of the best mates. He keeps voicing when he says, "How come I've got people, lads working down south, sending me snaps through you all over posters, your mugshot all over London?" I said, that's it. I said, make sure you get one and tell me to send it me through. So, that's saying it. I've made it.
You made it, mate. But anyway, that's all from me, Jason. But now I know Carl's got some questions for you, so I'll hand you over to him. Carl, take the stage.
Well, Carl, don't mention anything about getting injured tomorrow. Didn't need to hear that. Oh yeah, that's all good. Thank you.
I was going to say, Jack, I saw that post when we was coming back from your gym the other day, the big yellow one with like the graffiti over it. I don't know roads in London, mate, and we live there, so we're useless. Yeah. Mate, there was a couple of questions from people coming. One did come from Justin about the hardest fight, but something you just mentioned there was working with Frank Warren. Now, you said he's the first fighter that's given you that chance. Just how good is it to have someone backing you in that sense?
Well, you need it, don't you, to get to that next level, that next thing. And obviously, when I'm doing it for all these titles and legacy, all that, and and to just live a positive life and stuff. But then obviously financial still comes into it, money comes into it, and obviously it's down to Frank that that's where money comes in with these big promoters and TV and stuff behind you. So Frank made, obviously I had other promoters interested in signing me after the Foster win, but Frank was straight on it. I seen the job that they did for Brad Foster down there. It was all for him, all in his favour. And obviously Frank won the purse bid, so he was putting everything into his man, which I like that anyway. I wanted that back in. I went down and had a meeting with Frank, and I more or less, you asked Steffi, I more or less negotiated it myself. Without Steffi really even have to do anything. Obviously come down, we had bullet points, questions, this and that, and all the rest of it. And I was happy with everything, absolutely satisfied with it all. And like I said, Frank has delivered from day one. I know I went with Frank at the time, but me and Foster main event. Then he's made my main event in me his first fight together, and now Wembley Arena I'm the main event again. And yeah, I'm happy with how everything's going. They've got me involved in stuff down there with media work. I went down to Telford last week, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it all. And like I say, for me to push on towards world title now, I need that backing. And I'm just glad that I signed with Frank. You know, like I say, I'm satisfied with everything so far.
Because I see you. I watched the show last week in Telford. I see you on the old microphone there in your suit, looking rather dapper, slim. Obviously, 2 weeks out from the fight.
Yeah, slimming out. I thought I'm going to check weight tomorrow. I thought you picked a good night to have me on camera.
I'm actually, because I said to you last night, Jason, I'm considering coming down. That's a great card next week at Wembley. Like you say about headlining that, you've got some great fights from there. Joe Joyce, you've got Arnold. I don't know if you know him. He fights out of Will Jones's gym. He's a cruiserweight. He's got his second fight on there. There's someone else as well, another big fighter now. I can't think of who it is.
I think he's got a good fight. Alan Johnson. There's Mark Chamberlain. He's fighting this Vidal Spanish kid. It was supposed to be Sam Noakes, but he's had to pull off with a broken hand, I think. So there's like a few headline fights. There's Nathan Heaney on as well. And I tell you what, Heaney, his backing is unbelievable. When I boxed in Telford, it was his lot that made the night because they're absolutely bonkers for a start. But it makes a brilliant atmosphere. So it's going to be a good atmosphere in there at Wembley Arena as well. I've got a few going down myself. So yeah, it should be a good night. Get in there.
I mean, Nathan Heaney brings a good atmosphere, but that's about it for me. Less said, the better. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. We had Denzel Bentley on last night, and they're obviously the same weight. And Denzel's been calling for that fight for a long time. And for me, Nathan just keeps fighting. Well, I'm not going to go into it because that's not what we're about here for. But anyway, Maxi Hughes, Jason. I know. Well, I didn't actually know you two have known each other a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes, and my question was literally what that relation. Maxi is such a happy guy. Like in boxing, you will not meet a happier person, you know. Yeah. But I sprung the off chance of doing merchandise with him, and now all of a sudden, everyone in Doncaster or that area has got a Maxi Hughes hoodie. What is it like being around someone like that is so happy go?
Yeah, it's a good cue. All I thought about him when you were saying merchandise, I just pictured a pair of Crocs in my head because he's just got his Crocs on all the time. You want to be dishing Crocs out. That's your market there with Maxi. He's got a super speed mode on his. He's a good kid, Maxi. I've been with him this morning, and like I said, we've known each other since we were kids. We punched lumps out one another as kids, and like I say, he's been a big part of my preparation this time as well. And like I say, he's a lovely kid, Maxi. He's a sound kid. He's a lad's lad, and as well as that, like we're kind of both had similar kind of journeys, really, where it's kind of all taken off for us due to one fight and bounced from there. So, he's worked hard, grafted. He's had his setbacks, and it's all coming around for him, which I'm glad. And like I said, we're both kind of flying at the minute, aren't we? So yeah, good kid. Not got a bad word to say about Maxi.
I was just about to say, you two are on pretty much similar paths, didn't you? Like you both had a fight, and like you said, it just went bang straight up. You know? Maxi went against John O'Carroll on a card where even the promoters come out and said, you know, they thought John O was just going to beat him. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Maxi's just blown that division domestically to pieces.
Yeah.
And then knocked out that guy for the British title. Went to Dubai, was it, and knocked out that undefeated fella.
Yeah.
It's just mental, mate, and it just shows in boxing. You can be at any level, but if you get that chance at the right time, like you both have proved, that's it. You're set.
One fight. It takes one. I mean, like I say, mine with the European title, boom, from there. Obviously, a good performance. Like Maxi's were a good performance against John O'Carroll, so they kind of stand out, them wins as well. So people had to take a lot of notice to him. Then, obviously, I managed for British. It's all the domestic straps on the line. British, Commonwealth, European, IBF strap on the line. Boom, I win that. And then next thing, I've got a deal with a promoter. Max is obviously with Eddie. So, it's just like years and years of work and setbacks, like I say. And it just shows you it with hard work and perseverance and all that. It can come right in the end. You've just, like I say, got to believe in yourself, and we both have done, and now we're both reaping the rewards. So, yeah.
It's good to see, mate. It is good to see.
Yeah, thank you.
Staying with the stable, then, I'm a huge fan of Terry Harper. I'm a massive fan. How good is she?
She's very good. She's very good. She's coming into her own now. She's obviously developing into a good fighter and into a woman. She's still only young, Terry. That's another thing that people have obviously got to understand. I know she's they're out in Tenerife at a minute. So they're out in Tenerife, aren't they, a minute training? And I seen one of the stories pop up over day, and she's got a panda eye, her eyes black purple. I'm thinking I've been going off here. I thought it was Lewis, one of the lads has been giving us some over there, but turns out it was Raven's hip. I don't know how they managed this, but her hip has managed to slot between Edgard and crack her straight on eye. So she's all right. But obviously, like if that were me, 2 weeks out, if I got that now, I'd be a bit worried. But bless her, it's you got to take your knocks. It's boxing. It's like jumping in water. You're gonna get wet, aren't you? So that's that. But yeah, Terry, she's a very, very talented, very, very good talent. Sorry, already been a world champion at her age. She's going to be a world champion again. It's just doing it in the right path. Obviously, she's got the right team, the right people behind her to guide her properly. Terry's she's not really in a rush. I know obviously the women get pushed forward, fight forward faster, don't they? Because there's not as many about. And obviously she can fight. She's at an high level, but there's no rush with Terry. So I know that they're bringing her through steady again. And like I said, she just keeps going, keeps working hard because she does train hard. She will be a world champion again, no doubt about it.
1,000,000%. I think she's only about 24 as well, isn't she? So she's got so much time. And I mean, there's podcasts that I spoke on in the past. Jack, you will have heard me say this a few times. Her fight with Tasha Jonas was one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I remember watching that fight.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, she had to dig deep as well, didn't she? She had to dig deep in that one. So yeah, so she's proved she's got that, the bottle for it as well. She can dig deep and stuff. And like I say, with her age again, just got to bring her through, keep getting that experience in, get a few more wins under her belt before stepping back in there at the big time. But same time, it's one of them. Then if an opportunity is presented, women's boxing, them opportunities are probably going to come along faster. So as long as she's developing right way, then I'm very, very confident she will be a world champion again. She's got a very, very bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, I agree. I think she could go on to win multiple world titles in multiple divisions with the weight she's at and the age she's at.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the main man, Jason. I've been speaking to him today, Steffi Ball.
Yeah.
Mate, you can hear him in the corner when he's at fights. Beautiful, Terry. Beautiful, Terry. Just how passionate and how grateful are you to him for what he's delivered in your career so far?
Yeah, very much. In fact, you said there, Steffi, I've got a missed call from him, so I'm going to have to give him a call back before this goes out. This clip. So obviously he's phoned me from Tenerife. I don't know if it were I can't remember what it was. I was in gym on treadmill anyway, but I don't know if it were a FaceTime or a call. I thought he's going to rub it in this track because he's out in sun in Tenerife. So I thought he can wait for later him. But no, he delivers for all his fighters. There's not many with a CV like him. Definitely not as a manager, promoter, trainer. Just look at all fighters he's got, accolades from the bottom to the very top. So proof's in the pudding, isn't it? If you've got all them, then it just shows what you're about. But yeah, he's a grafter. He can, he puts his all in for all his fighters, and there's a reason why we're all having so much success, isn't there? And he's kind of the man behind he's the man with the plan, isn't he? He kind of pulls all the strings. So yeah. There's not really enough I can say apart from he's just a positive man in all his life, isn't he?
You can see the passion in him. I remember when the Terry Harper Tasha Jonas thing was going on and Joe Gallagher was trying to play some games, and it was at fight camp when literally you couldn't move in that hotel you couldn't fart without someone filming it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you just constantly see on the behind the scenes Terry going at Joe Gallagher because he was trying to change things for the fight. I don't know if you remember. Tasha turned up 2 days later than she should have, and Terry's on, this is wrong. But mate, we've got him coming on, and I can't wait to hear the story. Like you said, some of the fighters he's worked with, he's just world champions down to, like you say, down to where you've come through the ranks. But he did ask me to ask you a question, so brace yourself, and I want to know more about it because I see it all over.
What is this today?
I spoke to you about an hour ago.
Right,
his exact words. Well, let me get the conversation.
Why you not pick phone up?
I've got it here just to prove. He said, "I'm Oh, brilliant. Ask him what doing bits means.
Doing bits? There's many answers to doing bits. Doing bits, I don't know. It's do you kind of class it as is it cool? It's standout. You're doing bits, aren't you? It's you're doing something different to all the rest. So, like, we're boxing at Wembley Arena, topping bill, a kid from Doncaster on July 2nd. That's doing bits in my eyes. That doing bits comes under a lot of categories. You use your imagination. You use your imagination for what doing bits is, basically. So we've got a few going off now. We've got Ray Hughes' Gas Mark 6. Like, say, for instance, Joe Cordy. No, Julius Francis. That Julius Francis right hand, that were a Gas Mark 6 right hand. Boom, that were on fire, weren't it? So we've got Gas Mark 6 going off. We've got doing bits going off. It's a bad deal, which obviously means it's not going very well at all. Yes, yesterday, Father's Day, when I couldn't do a thing, that was a bad deal for me. That was a bad day yesterday. But yeah, we're all right today. So doing bits, it means it's positive. And you can just use your imagination for doing bits. It depends on what the subject is, but yeah, that's doing bits in my eyes.
There's another one that he uses as well. Job's fucked. Do you hear that a lot?
Yeah, we hear that. Well, I said a bad deal. That's because I'm watching my language on here. But yeah, job's fucked. Basically, a bad deal. Job's fucked. It's not going very well, lads, is it? That's what it means. So yeah. And then like Gas Mark 6, we're on fire. It's Gas Mark 6 for my training this week. And I'm going to be ready for Zolani Tete. I hope he's on Gas Mark 6 as well.
I hope he gets a few Gas Mark 6s, mate. I really do. And if I'm watching it, if I'm there or if I'm watching it on the telly, I'll be screaming Gas Mark 6.
Gas Mark 6, that's it. That's the one. And then doing bits. We'll hear that as well.
Hey, I got one more for you. So the man that's on this Jack, this is his podcast. He is a professional fighter as well.
Yeah.
And he is the only super flyweight to ever fight for the Southern Area Championship.
Yeah.
And in March, he had a fight. It was a draw. He was cut early in the fight, very badly. And in 5 weeks' time, Jack?
Yeah.
5 weeks' time, he rematches this guy for the Southern Area title. If you can give, because you're probably the best person we'll ever get on this podcast to give this advice, being in that position of doing it all.
Yeah.
What could you give to Jack in terms of advice to go into this fight?
So did it finish on the cut, the fight?
No, it went all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a draw, yes, it was a close fight.
Yeah, draw, yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to give it a watch and then look into it. There's always ways to improve it there. So obviously looking back into it, how he comes out, how can you adapt to that, to change that plan? Where are the things you could have done better? Should you have fought differently? Yeah, I don't know. I take it you and your team are going to look at it and you're going to work on the game plan anyway, aren't you? So I take it you'll have a game plan there. You'll believe that you're going to, it's going to beat him. But can you adapt at the same time where if that game plan's not working, is there something else you could come up with? Something else you could pull out, yeah. Like for instance, when I fought Foster, I thought I was just going to box his head off. And he come out, he was a better boxer than I thought. So I ended up going into dogging it out with him and putting it on him. And I found that what I thought he was going to be quite good at, if you like, it weren't his best attribute, finding it inside and roughing it up and dogging it out. So yeah, it kind of goes from there. And obviously watch the heads as well, so you don't get another cut. Yeah, they're not good. I think I've only been cut twice, both from clash of heads. The second one was Ben Jones in round 10, and I'm glad I got it in round 10. Probably would have been waved off if it had been in an earlier round or whatever, but it was right above my eye and it was just dripping down into my eye. And it was a bit Vaseline, it was just like a red mist. I don't know what yours like, but it's a distraction, anyway, isn't it? It's definitely a distraction. So, yeah, watch the heads. Yeah, and it's just down to you, mate. Obviously, you and your team to look at how you can come back from that. Like I say, it's all experience. You've experienced doing that 10 rounds with him. Yeah. How are you feeling? How are you feeling in regards to it, the fight, and confident you're going to get the job done? Or
yeah, mate. 100% confident, and like, my trainer, as you said, he's looked at it, working on new things, and just raring to go, mate. Like it's only 5 weeks away, so I just can't wait to get in there. And,
that's it. And even look to the mistakes you made, how you can improve on them, because obviously your opponent's going to be looking at that as well. What worked for him successfully last time and stuff like that. So, like you say, just this is another thing. Like when it comes for when I have fights, like Zolani, I watched 2 rounds of him. We trained down to when I was sparring Jason Cunningham. Same like with all my fighters, Malcolm. I watch a couple of rounds and that's it. I don't become obsessed and find myself watching them. I watch a little bit, then I leave it down to my team. I've got every confidence in my team with Ray and Steffi that they're going to put me a good game plan. You tell me what to do. It's down to me to get that to, absolutely down to a T, the game plan they're setting for me. And I concentrate on myself. What I need to improve on myself defensively or whatever else, or whether I need to use my feet a bit more in the fight, or if I need to step in, what's going to work? Do I need to keep it long range? So down to a game plan, and I focus on myself. I don't become obsessed with my opponent. So, like I said, if your game plan, you've got your game plan, that's going to work. And maybe some of adapting if something don't go to plan. And then obviously just yourself as well, what you can improve on yourself defensively, or do you need to use your feet a bit more in the next fight? Would it be better to in out or whatever else, or like I say, use them legs, don't stand so much. Like I say, it's down to your. There's all different things you can pick on and improve. Like I say, we're always improving. There's no perfect fighters. Everyone's always improving. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Couldn't be said better. In other words, Jack, just smash him up, get it over with, and we can all go home.
And watch your head, and just watch your head. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
But no, mate, that's everything. Jason, I just want to wish you. I'm sure I'll catch you before, but I want to wish you all the luck for your fight next weekend, mate. Just carry on doing what you're doing, mate, and you'll get that world shot.
Yeah, that's it. I'm very, very confident, boys. I just believe it's my time. Timing's everything, and I'm doing absolutely everything in my power. So I know before I leave that changing room fight night, I have done absolutely everything. Like I say, I'm knackered now, boys. That's why I've jumped on bed. But I've done absolutely everything in my power to make sure I am ready for that fight. And more than anything, you've got to enjoy it because Jack just saying to you as well. Once this is all said and done, it's all just memories. How far we get to. It's all memories. So you've got to enjoy the moment, enjoy the experiences. So I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I wish you all the best, mate. Genuinely.
Thank you, boys. That's it. Yeah, Jack, all the best in your fight as well, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. So, yeah, we're going to end it there then, guys. Jason, thank you for joining us. Carl, as always, thank you for being here. And, tune in next week for this man's fight to watch him beat Tete, and tune in next week for another episode of Let the Punk Talk. Peace.
That's it. Cheers, boys. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.